Hey, this is your boy Mike back with another video. How y'all doing today? I'm excited. Uh, I'm making another conspiracy theory, man, video. I got some stuff here I'm working on, kind of give you the idea of what God was thinking when he made the earth. Uh, Not so much in the Bible as in like what he thought, how Jesus probably healed the blind, how he healed the deaf, uh, little things like that. You know what I mean? Uh, I know back then they probably saw it as witchcraft at the time because it was just so a powerful thing that no one else possessed. Trying to show you here that Jesus is real through science. I'm not a science head, so don't get me wrong. But in a way, I'm trying to. It don't make sense, but in a way, it kind of makes sense. So, with that being said, now this is only for entertainment purposes only. We're not. This is nothing like it means nothing. Like it's just a piece of paper, and I'm trying to just prove that God's real. Maybe through not only through the Bible right here, which I got one, but through here, it's kind of different to see on my side. It's on, but this right here is God, Jesus, and the Trinity, right? So you got the Trinity, which is a like this, which stands for affinity, eternal, or simple terms, forever. Okay. Now this is eternity. This is God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit, okay? This is us, okay? As you can see, I drew God, Jesus, and Holy Spirit in affinity symbol. See that? I drew us as mankind. It's weird to see because it's backwards. As a clock, as you can see right here, there's time. Of course, here on this one, it looks like 9 o'clock, but actually it's 3 o'clock. Everything's going to be upside down, but bear with me. So, technically it's on 3 o'clock. This is a clock shape, which is what? A pi, which is, what's the first number on a pi? 3 point. The number is 3.14, so on, etc., whatever it is, okay? Now, it's important about that 3, okay? That 3 stands for Trinity. So, Trinity, God, Jesus, and Holy Spirit stands forever, and we stand for just time. We don't stand forever here on this place right here, okay? So I'm trying to tell y'all how God thinks, okay? How God made this earth. Now, it's just conspiracy theories. Now, hear me out. Okay, so when we use a clock, we use a pi. The main number is 3, okay? So, with that being said, we go through Genesis. God made everything in 7 days. And animals, creeping thing upon the earth, and then he made us, humans. Me and you. Okay? He made us ruler of everything on the earth. So, with that being said, at that time, I still believe we were over here. Okay? Now, how we got over here, where time started, is when Eve ate the apple. Well, Adam and Eve ate the apple. Okay, so that's when time started. But in the Bible, I don't know how it all works there. I'm just talking about time. We're going a little too far, but in the Bible it just says that Eden was basically like in like Iraq or something. But that's not what's important right this second, okay? We'll get back to that some other time. So we went from affinity to time, okay? Because we're in the year 2025, right? But the time worked was, supposedly, we went from BC, which we started at a high number at BC, and went down to 0. And then from 0, basically that's how Jesus was born, to now. Okay? So that right there explains time. Explains the shape of the earth, explains the shape of time. This is the way it is. Don't ask me why, I don't know. I'm not God. Okay. Now, my next thing I'm getting into. Like I said, pi. Now remember pi, that's the circle. That's the earth, that's time. That's where we gotta start somewhere. Pi, you gotta start somewhere with pi. Okay? Now God starts talking about cubits. Okay? Now hear me out. Conspiracy theories, I'm not getting a bunch of it. Don't care for it. I'm just trying to prove to y'all that scientifically God is real. Okay, so Adam and Eve ate off the tree of knowledge, which put us here in this physical body right here. So when God said, if you eat from the apple, you're gonna die. It says right there in the Bible. So that's when time started. Okay, so at some time we were over here, probably, and then we got over here. So if you don't know how time started, that's how time started, okay? Now, the crazy part, how God thinks. Cubits, okay? Cubits in the Bible spelled C-U-B-I-T-S, okay? Now, how we were taught in the Bible, cubits, like, it's basically an arm length, all right? Now, how are you going to build the earth with the arm length or the ark or anything like this? I'm explaining Genesis. This is all I'm going to explain today. Like, I'm not getting into detail about Jesus. I'm proving you Jesus and them are real by science. Okay. So with that being said, cubits is measured through the arm with the C. Now, there's another cubits word. It's called cubits in a cube. That also known as quantum. Now, you ask me, what is quantum? Quantum computers, quantum mechanics, what's the other word? Quantum physics. I don't know any about that, okay? I'm just trying to show you how God used this to kind of get an idea how to build the earth and how we got here as an in time. I don't know what happened before they ate the apple. I'm trying to explain to you how we got here now. So we ate the apple, and it says in the Bible, God uses cubits to measure with the C. And there's a word called quantum. They use the cubics to measure with the cube. Now, what is the definition of a quantum and the cube? Which can be measured in superposition 0 and 1 simultaneously. Okay? So when you say 0 and 1 simultaneously, what's the thing you think about? The matrix, right? What we do. No one cares. Okay, so maybe that's how you use the measure to Earth. So you gotta use pi, and then you start using quantum to measure the Earth. Now I don't know how true all this is. Okay, so when you use qubits in quantum terms, which can be measured in 0 and 1 simultaneously, it's called superposition. So it's kind of weird to, this is just conspiracy theory, how the male and female reproductive system, how we reproduce is a 1 and a 0 kind of, you know what I mean. But anyways, that's not what's important. Now, if you start taking quantum numbers and you start plugging them in, a thing's called hydro wave function, or maybe that's in quantum terms. I don't know nothing about this. Or hyper wave functions. You start seeing things like how things. So hydro wave function basically forms it and sticks it. Hydro wave function does the spinning, and I think electrics is like this or something like that. Now, with that being said, if you look up hydro wave functions and you put in the number, you could do it with 2 hyperwave functions. You could do it with 2, 3, and 4. You would have to look it up. This is not accurate. Now we're here, I think. Which could explain time. Okay? Which could explain the third dimension. Okay, now if you look up hydro wave functions, you start getting shapes. Okay, like this is not all the shapes it has. You put in it'll show you. If you look at quantum, hydro wave function quantum, you come up with shapes. If you put in the 3, you come up with circles. Okay, so pi is circle. Hydro wave function 3, 0, 0 is 3. It's a circle. It makes this circle. Now, you can put it any way you want. You can put it as flat Earth, circular, solar system, all that, circle. Flat Earth, whatever they say, blah, blah, circle, blah, blah. Round Earth, here's the core outside, and basically get out to the core. The solar system, the sun's in the middle, the circle, all that, okay? Now, so you measure that with qubits, what God uses in the Bible, okay? And we're the ruler of all living things until that serpent said, hey, eat the apple of knowledge. And that's how we started time. Now, we go to the pyramids. Now, I just drew something simple, man. Here are the pyramids. There was 3 of them. over there. This is around the world. There was the three main ones that we all know about, right? So if you look at the shape of a pyramid, you have how many points? You have 3 points. Which is what? Pi. Which is what? Clock. All that stuff. So, what is the definition? Perfection, energy, excitement, action, and movement is what the definition of basically what the triangle is. So, with that being said, there's your news for today. You gotta figure it out from there. But that's Mike for another conspiracy theory. This is for entertainment purposes only. I try to show you that possibly God's real through hydro-wave function, hyperwave function, quantum mechanics, how Jesus healed. Like I said, through hydro-wave, you could put like, other than solid numbers at the beginning, you see like it makes like force fields, looks like the earth, force fields around it. It's different shapes that resemble how our solar system works, all that stuff. So, that's Mike. I'm not very smart, but that just gives you an idea what kind of perspective what God was thinking. But, catch you guys in the next video. Peace!